Let's start talking about schemas. In other products, or when talking about relational database concepts, the schema normally means the entire structure of your database consisting of tables, views, and so on. In DB2, a schema normally refers to a namespace, or a prefix or a qualifier of an object. Every object in DB2 has two parts, a schema name and a object name. A schema name does not need to be provided all the time. When you work with object in DB2, because there will be an implicit schema being used. Normally, the implicit schema is the connection ID, used when connecting to the database. But you can also set it with a set schema command. For example, let's connect to a sample database. Using the user ID arpchong because I don't provide the user parameter, then it's going to prompt me for the password. So I input a parameter and now I'm connected to sample database. Using the connection ID arpchong, now let's create a table. db2 create table. Note that XYZ map to any user in the operating system. It is just an ordinary name. Because my user has the privilege to do so. If I know db2 select from XYZ and press enter, I will get an error because db2 is looking for the table arpchong. db2 uses the user ID of the connection as the implicit schema in this case. If I use db2 select asterisk from XYZ, now I will get the right result. Now let's create a table as follows: db2 create table t1. Now a table has been created, and it should have been a table arpchong t1 since 1 I didn't provide, therefore the implicit schema was used. So to confirm this, I can do a db2 select asterisk from arpchong c1 and press enter. And as you can see, there is one column. And this is the table that we created earlier without the schema name. Now we want to change the schema to be used as implicit schema. You can type db2 set schema and press enter. So now, if I issue any command without specifying the schema name in a statement, role will be used not as an implicit schema, db2 select asterisk from t1. I will get an error because it's looking for role T1 which does not exist. So schema name are important to understand because a common error for new DB2 users is to create objects with one schema. And later on, they cannot find those objects because they are connected to another user. A schema can be used for grouping such tables together. Maybe they are related. One schema could be used for text, another for development, another for product. For example, you want to develop a Java application and you embedded SQL statement that will which refer to DB2 objects, but you don't include the schema. Say the user ID and password are passed to the program at runtime. You can have 2 or 3 sets of table which are exactly the same, but one could be created for the schema test, another for development, another for production. So since the program refers the objects without a schema, when the explicit schema is used based on the connection ID, therefore, if you connect user test and you start executing this command, then it will be referring to the tables that have been the schema test. The something is you try to connect with the user dev for development, and you point or execute this application again. Then the application will point the schema there, and so on. So this is one example of when schema could be useful.